Chair, and I recognize the gentleman from Georgia, Mr. McCormick.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good to see you again, General. It's been a couple years now that we've known each other, and I've seen you around the world, several different places. I know you're going to miss dealing with crayon-eating Marines and better-looking uniforms, I might add, better commercials. But with that said, it's interesting. The first time I ever saw you at a hearing, I asked you a very specific question about, can we win in Ukraine? You said, you didn't even hesitate. You said, absolutely. And I agree with you. And for those people who are doubters, I make the case, first of all, that we have, between us and Europe, we have a $50 trillion economy versus two. We control sanctions. We control the economy. We control energy production. And we can undermine Russia in so many ways economically, not even to mention militarily. Germany has a $5 trillion economy versus $2 for Russia. There should be no competition here. But the problem is, when we went to command and staff, when we went to go to Water College, when we do all our advanced training, we always learn how to execute a war, full-throated, not half-assed, not going partial measures, and then drawing it out like we have every war since Korea, in my opinion. We did this with Iraq. We did it with Afghanistan. We continued to draw it out. We went half measures, and it went way too long, and I feel like we're doing the same thing here. Instead of just saying, all in, end this thing, within 1 year, it's over. That's Clausewitzian warfare. Now, of course, we take nukes off the table. I understand the deterrence there. But do you think we still, a year after we had our first conversation, a couple of years after we had our first conversation, do you still think that what I just said is viable and has application in this process to ending this war?
I do, sir. The role of assistance to Ukraine, the pace of assistance to Ukraine, the magnitude of it, has an outsized impact in this in this war.
So, Ms. Thompson, I just say, if I could give you feedback to the president. These are two military guys who've been in this business for a long time, and actually there's a whole lot more than that. We can end this war in many ways. I love what the president's doing to put pressure on Russia to end this, but he's in the power seat. He's the most powerful man in the world. With sanctions, with energy production, the things he's doing, also with the development of our businesses there, which Russia would have a hard time attacking if we're there. But also the fact that the president has been very strict in saying, hey, I got the bigger button. I have the bigger military. I have more economic power than anybody in the universe. We can end this. The president is the big man in the room. And I would love to see him put pressure on Putin because he has that leverage. Getting back more to tactics and away from strategy, we have new munitions. We have the glide bombs. We have wire-guided munitions now, very similar to what the TOW is, but they have loitering capacity with the new drones. What are we doing to both develop that and also counter that in technologies? Obviously, you're not going to talk about anything classified, but do you feel like we're moving at pace for our newly developed weapon systems?
Yeah, Congressman, a general never feels like we're moving at an adequate pace when it comes to development of new weapon systems, especially in conflict. We continue to help our Ukrainian partners in their development of this stuff, but they have really, they've become the world experts in one-way drones, and they are very, very good at it. They're also very good at countering it, and are doing that. Our ability to learn from them is an important thing. A few minutes ago, a member asked about lessons learned and how we're incorporating those. One of the if you can find a silver lining in this tragic dark cloud of this war, we are learning an awful lot about the future of warfare and about Russia's capabilities as well.
I think that have great applications to Taiwan and the Straits as well when we're talking about legacy systems versus the newer technologies that are going to impact the battlefield. I'm almost out of time, but I want to take this time as you're nearing retirement just to say that no matter what happens, no matter how bad your uniform looks compared to the Marines or anything like that, you have one thing that you can always hang your hat on, and you have the coolest title ever, Supreme Allied Commander. Nobody can take that from you for the rest of your life. God bless you, Semper Fidelis. Good luck in your next career.
Thank you, sir.